My name is Lasita Bridget Walker. I am from originally Detroit, Michigan, but I am from Southfield, Michigan at this point. On that day, I was 35 years old. Well, before 9/11, there was not as much security. I do remember at that point at the airports, you could drive up to the airport where you were people were departing. You could leave, get out of your car, and go into the airport. You could travel even further back in the airport beyond the security if you had to take a child or something. Absolutely not. It was not even a part of our consciousness before 9/11. Um, Terrorists, that kind of thing only happened outside of the country. I remember specifically, I was at work in a classroom at McNair Middle School on the east side of Detroit. And I remember a couple of teachers coming out into the hallway saying, turn your televisions on, turn your television monitors on. And we saw it, some repeats of the actual impact of the plane going into one of the towers. And then while we were watching, another plane crashed. And I remember thinking about my children who were in school at that time, and also thinking about who could this have been? Were we under attack? Was it just that particular area? Was something going to happen in Michigan? And I also remember a lot of parents coming up to the schools checking their students out. And it's so funny because the parents that came to check their kids out were the parents of our kids that gave us the most trouble in school. It was hilarious how those specific parents were coming to get their kids. I was somewhat afraid, but I felt as if the kids that were in school would be safer situated in that particular place, as opposed to if something was going on and my getting on the highway trying to find them, trying to leave, until we found out, until we got more information about what actually was taking place. No, no, I was not personally connected to anyone that was in those locations. But ironic as it seems to be, maybe about 10 years later, my eldest daughter actually got a job at the Pentagon. And it was interesting. I think the government acted as swiftly as they could, trying to figure out who was responsible for that. And I know there was a lot of speculation around who it was. And I remember one colleague, she was saying that her dad, who was a part of World War II, was saying that it had to have been Bin Laden. It had to have been Bin Laden. And it was really interesting how that seemed to have surfaced, and he became the person that was identified that was primarily responsible. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Threats are so prevalent now. Um, we know that one of our country's philosophy is to allow people in from all over the world to come into our country to have that freedom. And unfortunately, we have people coming in under false pretenses, and they are becoming radicalized. And then some are already here. They are American citizens, and they're becoming radicalized and just hoping and wishing for something larger, and they are just taking part in this devastating behavior. So I think that the threats will continue as technology improves. I think that they will become more and more sophisticated, and as our younger people get smarter and smarter along with this technology, although it can work for good, it can really work for evil as well. For a long time, I wouldn't fly. I was like saying, no way would I even go to the airport. I was not interested. But now, as I get onto flights, I am very cautious and I'm very observant as well. Nowadays you can't leave your luggage to the side. You can't leave it unattended. I am looking around. as I get onto planes, and I am listening very intently, and I try not to racial profile or anything like that, which is really a big no-no. Um, but I do pay close attention to conversations that are taking place, and I'm very prayerful as well.